guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Connector. I am your connector, Arielle Levitt, and I'm here to connect you to people that want to be connected with you, that want to help you succeed, that want to share information, that are doing innovative things, that are, and I'm speaking really fast, guys. I do this all the time, and I get comments for this, and you guys are like, slow down, Arielle. And I listen to things on 2x, which is terrible, so that I just think everybody listens to things on 2x. So, all right, you guys. But I am here connecting you to people that are doing really innovative things, that are out there making changes in the community, that are building community, that are making connections, that are helping other businesses grow, that are helping individuals. So this week I have Nadia with me, and she is fantastic. We hit it off right away. We started talking. I was like, oh my gosh, I love your energy. And then I find out that I know her mother through the whole world and industry of the healthcare industry that I'm involved in. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love your mother. This is so great. It's all of course, that's why I really love your energy too. And it makes sense. So anyways, Nadia, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, my mom loves you too. I was actually speaking about you this morning with her on the phone. She's like, I introduced her to how we connected, which was Rich. She was like, I'm the one that introduced him to her. Just know that. I was like, okay, Mom, calm down.
I know. Really, it's fun when connections work out, right?
Yeah.
And you get to set people up and matchmake, and then you're like, I want to just take a little credit for that because it worked out. Yeah,
exactly.
And that's why it's so much fun, connecting people. And that's what I love about it, because it's so much fun. When somebody has a great connection and does the whole thing. Anywho, so I want to get into your business because I love what you're doing and how you have you found a niche, and you were like, let's run with this, and how you were like, I'm going to take on this whole different thing. So probably everybody's like, what is she doing? I want to know. And
not that cool, but no, it's cool. But you're leaving it up. I'm excited.
But you built this community. You have so many people part of your community. You have started literally from nothing, and you were just like, I see a need for this, and I'm going to start creating it, and I'm going to do this. And you took a risk, and you took action, and you used your connections and the people that were like, I want to help you make this happen too.
Yeah.
So, and believing in you. So, okay. Yes. So let's talk about your business.
So it's personal injury is something that most of us, especially in Florida, do we know somebody? It's happened to us. It's the way of the world in personal injury, and you see the billboards, and I've been in personal injury for about 7 years. I actually started as my mom's assistant, literally just dropping off donuts to offices and getting yelled at by people and then bringing that information to my mom. But that's literally how I started. But from there, now 7 years later, we fast forward, I've worked for quite a few companies, and I just realized that, marketing is the way of the world now. Everybody has marketing companies and digital marketing and SEO marketing and just door-to-door marketing. And it's marketing is everything. We just saw that with the Super Bowl. It's marketing's everything. But what I noticed in our industry in personal injury is that there is no, everyone's trying to have the most innovative next big thing, whether it's SEO, whether it's, radio ads, whether it's pay-per-click, and all of that is good and well. I think all those things are great. But we've kind of forgotten about just door-to-door marketing. We've forgotten, we keep trying to invent the wheel and not realize that the wheel was okay. And so what I noticed, I had helped a law firm build out their marketing team, and they're statewide. People at home, if you don't know, obviously for personal injury, an attorney can really take a case anywhere in the state. Where obviously if your medical treatment, you want to do something that's a little closer to your house because you do have to go, quite a few times depending on what the treatment is. And so what I noticed is that attorneys would not know a provider in a specific area, or maybe they did. Maybe they knew a chiropractor or a physical therapist, but they didn't know a neurologist. They didn't know a psychiatrist. We're seeing things like TBI from accidents, PTSD. Sometimes people's teeth get knocked out, dentist. So I decided, what if I love marketing, I love what I do, but what if I found a network within our network of personal injury? I create this own little umbrella of providers that I've done the groundwork for the attorneys. I've gone and vetted these doctors, which is most important to me, is I want to make sure that they're doctors that are going to do the right thing by the clients, which is the injured person, and as well as the attorney, because there's a lot of factors that fall into that. So I go and I vet these doctors. I see their facilities. I make sure I have that point of contact. I take a lot of those steps away from the attorney and the case manager who has to go and search and go on Google and try to find somebody and make sure they deal with personal injury, because not everybody does. And I try to find them in different places, not just in South Florida, but throughout the state. So in the Panhandle and in, parts of Jacksonville that people have never heard of. And Loxahatchee, Florida is always my favorite. I just love that word. Loxahatchee, Florida, like knowing a physical therapist there. Homestead, the Keys. And then the beauty of what happened with it is that I've kind of created a community with my providers, which kind of isn't something we normally have. I feel like everybody's so competitive with each other when we shouldn't be, because there is enough to go around. Like Florida is the worst drivers.
We're very saturated here.
We're very saturated. There's, unfortunately. So I've been able to connect really great providers that then know each other and can kind of work together. The chiro now knows an ortho that's right down the street from them, or the ortho now knows the chiro, it's just building a network within a network, doing really fun events, getting out, hopefully we'll start doing more in the community than we've been doing. And just having a lot of fun, doing loving our job. And I definitely can say I love what I'm doing.
I love that you are bringing people together that they might think of each other as competition, right? Like, oh, well, you're a chiropractor. That's maybe like a city over, or two cities over. But you're like, no, we're all in the same boat together. We're like, no, we're working as a team now. We are here. Like, let me help you help this person. Like, let's all, maybe if, this person moves 20 miles away or 10 miles away even, because people don't want to travel more than 5 miles to their office that they're going to. And now you're going to be like, oh, great, I actually know that other chiro. Like, enjoy them, have fun. Like, they're wonderful. And it's nice to be able to almost like have multiple offices, as I can say as a provider, like where I have this medical office and I now can say like, I'm part of this network, which is fantastic that I can say like, I feel like I have multiple locations.
Exactly. And that's it. Attorneys they're busy and they've got a million things to do. So sometimes you'll have a relationship with an attorney where they don't know anybody. You get a Miami attorney. Palm Beach is another world to them. So if they know you, they're going to call you like, do you have an office here or do you know somebody here? And that's kind of what Casales Consulting has been able to do, is like we have this web of, okay, no, I do know somebody there and they have been vetted. And, sometimes I'm not even part of the messages. They're messaging with each other. And I love that. I think it's really cool. And it also makes it a lot comfortable when we do go to these networking events where there's just so many people and you don't know who to talk to or who, you have that familiar face. So I think that's my favorite part, is that, they're making their own relationships without me.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And I really appreciate that you're doing this, that I feel like it's community building, because I feel like we had that at one point and then everybody felt this need because there were so many chiros or so many whatever attorneys that everybody's like, mine, like, let me get like into this really scarcity mindset, if you say, yeah. And now we're like, you're like, no, guys, like you said, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like, let's go back to abundance and back into like, there's enough for everybody. And so you really market the providers. That's what who you're marketing, which is also nice because it takes a lot of pressure off of the providers, because it's hard. Like, not everybody can afford a full-time marketer for them. And now like, you're like, no guys, if we all work together, then we all can like have a full-time marketer. Yeah.
So I try to do different, everybody needs something different for their marketing. Some of my providers have marketers, and it's funny. I actually went up to Central Florida yesterday, and the marketer, I could already see like what are you doing on my territory face? And I was like, sweetheart, like, I do not want to be your marketer. I'm not trying to I did that for many years. I don't want to work for anybody anymore. I want to help you. So I can be as involved or as uninvolved. That's a word, right? Yeah. Uninvolved. Okay. I'm like, wait a second. My brain is after 1 o'clock, it stops working. As uninvolved as you guys would like. If you guys just want me to make the connection, the attorney calls me and you guys take it from there, by all means necessary. Like run with it. It's less work for me. But if some of my providers are like, I don't have a marketer. I'm the marketer, but I can't be at all these events and I can't be doing all these things. So they're not able to go. But the beauty of it is, a lot of my attorneys, and it's kind of where the catchphrase comes, is call Nadia. Nadia knows, because that's what it is. Like, call Nadia. She'll know. Like, she'll know somebody. And if she doesn't, she'll find them. So fantastic. Yeah. So I have some providers that that were like, no, we need a full integration. We want you to hire our marketing team, build out our marketing department. I mean, that came with a way bigger fee because it's a lot of work, but, train our staff into what to look for what the attorneys, because they were going into a new territory. And you know how it is. Miami attorneys are very different from Broward attorneys are very different from Palm Beach, and forget about Orlando and Tampa and Jackson. It's all different ways of how they like things. So I'll train the staff. I'll come in and train the staff, and I'll take it as far as I can. And the beauty of me is I don't think I know everything. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. But if I don't know it, I'll find it. So, for instance, I do have some people who are like, well, we want to do the SEO and we need our website redone and we want to do the pay-per-clicks. We want to hit them from every avenue. I have people that I work with that I trust, and trust to have given them great contacts, and they work with some of the biggest names in our industry. I have those people to connect with. So if it's depending on what I want to be able to be an experience for people. I don't want them to think they're just joining my network to get cases and that's it. And if that's what they want, then that's fine. But I'm always hoping that they want more. I'm hoping that they want me to help them, to do a community event, to get recognition in the community, to help them set up events. That's one of my favorite things to do, is to do an event. So, if you want me to help you plan an event, or if you want me to help you come up with whatever it is, I just want to be that, that experience for everything. And again, if I don't have it, I'll find it for you. So,
and it's a holistic experience. I mean, you're really taking everything and putting it in one container, which it makes it so desirable. Yeah. And I love how you're really, selective of who you take on. I think it's fantastic. I mean, you could take on anybody. I'm sure there's a line out the door for you too, because it's like, oh my gosh, you're affordable and I can use you and you do all this stuff and this is amazing. And like, what you're doing and it's, right. Like, and when I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, this is like a dream come true for me as a small business owner. And to be able to have access to somebody who's so knowledgeable and knows, like, has a vast community and connections and everything. And it's like, I feel like I hit the holy grail, and like that you're so amazing and sweet and kind and your energy is just there. You're like, let's work as a team. And so you do have a vetting process.
Yes.
And
so I'm tough. I'm tough. Unless you came, it's funny because then once I was like, oh yeah, like I do know her, but unless it's from an attorney, and I still do it either way. So an attorney is how you and I got connected. He mentioned your name and I was like, oh, I mean, he's my best friend. If he told me that it was like raining red, I would believe him. I do. But I still go and there's a few attorneys that will not be mentioned, but they're like my Oz. I'll go and I'll give them names and what are your thoughts on this person? And, good, bad, like give it to me. And I call them. I'm going to owe them really good Christmas gifts this year because I've driven them crazy, but I go through that with them. I go online. I want to check out the facilities. I ask different people. If I don't personally know them, I'm asking different people about them. And then that first conversation, there's been conversations that I've had where I was like, well, that's not going to work. And I'll let them know. I'm very honest with them. Hey, listen, we've got something really good over here, something that like I want to protect. because it's mine. There's a reason why my company isn't called Medical Marketing XYZ. It's my name because it's my reputation. And I want to protect that at all costs because your reputation is everything. So I want anybody who comes into our bubble, you know how it is. It's super easy to poison the well, and you get somebody in there that starts, not being a team player, because that's really what I say to all my providers is that we're team players. We help each other. Even if it doesn't help one of us in that second, we do those things to kind of help the bigger picture because we're working towards something bigger. I also am a firm believer when I meet with providers and I'm like, well, how many cases can you give me? I'm like, get out. I'm like, the conversation's done. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, if that's what you think this is, if you think I have this magic formula in the back and I'm doing the wrong things for cases, you're talking to the wrong person. I am just doing what I've been known to do for the years, and people have trusted me with that, and we're only going to continue to grow. So you can be a part of something now where it's, or you can get left behind. I'm going to do the work. It's proven itself already, and that's it. But I always want it to feel genuine to me, and I know that sounds so they're like, sure, but no, it really is. I want to feel good about what I'm doing. I've had providers that have offered me obscene amounts of money, and I'm like, I will not sleep well at night, knowing that you're seeing my clients. There's no way, in good conscience, can I do that? I want to work with people that I would send my family to, or that I would go to myself. And that's really important to me. So I do the process, depending on what type of a doctor it is, it gets more and more difficult. So I want to see CVs. I want to know, have you gone to trial? How was trial for you? Especially for the orthos, the neurosurgeons, those big doctors that really, they're operating on people, that's important to me because I always think is what if it was my family member? So, it's Florida. Florida's it's a sunny place for shady people. So you can go completely the right way, or it can be a bad experience. I want to make sure that anybody who's came into contact with me or anybody in the network has the best experience possible.
They always say business is a trickle down effect, right? It starts with the business owner or the boss or whatever, and it trickles down, and it shows so much about you, where you're these are my standards and this is what I hold, and it trickles down to the patient, to the facilities, it trickles to everybody, and then to their friends, and then it's such a a ripple effect.
Yeah, it is, and I'm going to tell you, over the years, even when I worked for other facilities, the clients would call, even the attorneys would say, can you call the client? They're difficult, or they just need a little hand holding. And I'm like, as long as you're okay with me talking to them. I'm not an attorney by any means. I'm not a medical provider, but I've worked long enough to know what I'm to say and what, you need to talk to your attorney about that, or your doctor. But just to kind of be that hand holder, where, hey, this is what you're going to do. I was actually talking to a client yesterday, and she, I have clients that call me and wish me happy holidays. The attorney's like, they don't even call me. I'm like, well, they call me. So they, it's, I want more important, I want to be able to educate these people too, because these insurance companies are spending millions to have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, doing their $10 million Super Bowl ads. And they're not doing that so that, they're going to pay you out when for what you deserve. So I always want to educate the clients more than anything. And I also like working with providers who take those extra steps to just educate them on, the process, the importance of having certain, additions to their policies, how the law works, what's changed with the law since last year, just educating, because it's one thing that insurance companies are not spending money on is to educate the Florida drivers, or any drivers for that matter. But really here in Florida, they do, they're doing a number on us.
Totally. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Injured in a car accident, on the job, or just playing a game of pickleball? MedAmerica is the #1 clinic in physical therapy, occupational therapy, and chiropractic needs, specializing in sports, post-surgical, and orthopedic conditions. Located in Deerfield Beach, MedAmerica is here to help you get back feeling better than you did before. Visit their website at medamericarehab.com. That's Med, M-E-D, America, AMERICA, rehab, REHAB.com. Mention the connector to receive 10% off any self-pay service. Today's podcast is sponsored by Pod Populi. Have you ever thought of starting a podcast? Not sure where to start? Pod Populi makes it easy. With over 20 podcast studio locations nationwide, they host over 100 podcasts. Pod Populi is a full-service podcasting studio with video and audio production. They help you put your idea into the best podcast. Visit podpopuli.com to book your time to talk to an expert on getting started. That's pod, PODPOPULI.com, and mention the connector for 10% off your first year. Okay, guys, we're back. This is something else I want to get into a little bit, and I love that you put on community events to help your providers get to know each other. And you're like, let's come together as a community, even though you're in my, community, and you have a Facebook. I'm sorry, not a Facebook, but a chat. You have a group chat, and that's one thing. But you're like, but I want you to meet in person, and I want you to get to know each other. And I think that's so, abundant. And I keep using that word, but it's you're like, let's all do this together. And it's just so open-minded is really what and so I love that you just had an event the other, unfortunately I wasn't able to come,
we missed you.
but you're doing these things, and you're like, let's all come together and meet each other.
Yeah, the events are great because it's really, I actually just got an email from an attorney who never goes to events, but she's been to my last two. And she said to me, she's like, I am such an introvert. I struggle with events. She's like, but I will go to any one of your events because you just do them so well. Some people say you don't mix the business and pleasure, but our industry, we really are on call 24/7 because unfortunately, an accident can happen at any time. It can happen on New Year's Day. It can happen on your honeymoon. It can happen at any time. So you have to always be available. And I think since we are always on such high alert, for that message to come in or have to go open up an office on New Year's Day, which I made one of my providers do. Yes, I did. I was like, you have to go into the office. I think it's nice when we can kind of just step back from that and just have a laugh and enjoy a day and step away. And then we also make it a networking event. So I try to do them on a smaller scale to where it's not too overwhelming. I'll get, 15 to 20, different attorneys out or their representatives. And I think my events go so well because they see that there's no toxicity in the room. I mean, we did a woman's event. There was so much estrogen in the room, but I couldn't get them to leave. I was like, guys, it's 7:00. And we started at 12. I was like, I've got to go home. I got to walk the dog. I got to go. But everybody was just, there was, quote unquote competition, 3 or 4 attorneys sitting at a dinner table together, and I'm getting up and leaving. I have got to go. But I think that that's beautiful. I think egos are really left at the door with my events. I did a big holiday event, which we did benefiting Jack and Jill Foundation. And one of the attorneys came up to me and said, you have your direct competition. There is other marketing companies here. Did you know that? I'm like, absolutely. And he's like, and you don't care? There is no competition. And not because I think I'm better than everybody else, but I just think that, number one, there's so much business to go around, number one. Number two, I do something I think that's very different. And on top of it, I may need that marketer that knows somebody in an area that I don't know somebody. So I want to always, leave no stone unturned.
It's nice to you can brainstorm also. That's what I love doing with other chiro offices or PT. I'm always just so how are you guys doing this? What are you feeling about this change? What's, and it's nice to be able to have those connections and conversations, and you don't feel like you're alone in this. Because it can feel like that as a business owner, and it's nice to have community.
Yeah, it is. And I even like my groups that have like the multi-specialty, even them, like they'll have, chiro or PT, but, they're more focused on the ortho. And they'll say like, listen, we want to give the PT case over to Ariel. Like, let's get it over to her because, it's fine. We're going to take care of the ortho, whatever. And they, like I said, they really do work together. The group works together really well to just do right by the group. End of the day, we're all realistic. We all have to pay our own bills. But I do see like a lot of camaraderie that I don't see out there anywhere else. And I also see a lot of marketing companies that don't want the attorneys and the providers to have like any communication. They want to get everything kept very separate. Where me, I'm like, go have dinner, go have lunch, go meet them. Like, it's the more people you know, the better. And I think it's why I've been able to be so successful is because I want to meet everybody. I want to know everybody. I want everybody to know me because you just never know when you're going to need that person. And again, it's the call Nadia, Nadia knows, because you could ask me for a really good restaurant in Phuket and I will give you like 4 of them. Like, I just want to know, I want everyone's cards. I want everybody's information. I just want to be like a walking Rolodex.
You want them to have a great experience. And it reminds me of this book. Like, have you read the book, Art of Gathering? The Art of Gathering?
No, but I'll read it.
Oh my gosh. Yes. You will love it. It's so many like fun, like things, but it talks about how like the gathering obviously is so important. And how it comes to be is not just bringing people together, right? Like that's one way of doing it. But then like there's a whole way to make people feel comfortable, get more out of the evening, facilitate the conversation to make sure it really goes in the direction you want. Like all these things. And it's not even just starting at the event. You start with the invitation, right? You set the mood.
Yeah, for sure.
Which and you do that, I feel like, with your events. And that's where I was kind of going with this. Like, you would love this book because it's kind of like what you already do, but but you'll get more ideas and you'll get, I'm
going to read it though, because I love books. So I'll add it into my queue of what I've got going on right now.
Yeah, no, it's so much fun. I know, right? It's so much fun to read a book.
I love holding the book. I like smelling like the papers. I love like.
So no Kindle. You're not a Kindle.
Not a Kindle. My sister keeps telling me, and I'm like, absolutely not. Like, my husband always, he's like, you are like even my sister, she's like, you're like an 80-year-old woman. Like, you are the things that you do. Like on Sundays, I take my dog for a walk. I live in Aventura and I bird watch. Like, I don't know what kind of birds they are. I just like take pictures of them and I send them to my husband. And I'm like, I don't know what it is, but like now you have the Google image search. So you can find out what kind of birds they are. But there's like people don't pay attention to how many birds. This is so weird.
I love this. I am like, tell me the birds.
I swear, like I was like Selena, my sister. I'm like, there's like 6 ponds, this one pond, and there's 6 different types of birds in this pond. Like, you don't think that that's like kind of incredible? She's like, how old are you? I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to be a fun grandma one day. I'm for sure. I'm like going to be that one with like the book. But no, that, and like, I love like physically holding a book and like going through the pages, and the Kindle's cool. 'Cause I guess you can like hold the word and like, if you don't know what it means, but like, I'm old school. Like, I'll get out a dictionary and find out what that word means. You mean Kindle? No, I gotta hold the book.
It's so funny because I'm an audiobook listener. So like, I know, like you're like, I want to hold the book, and I'm like, I just want to listen. Just let me listen.
Just give me the details. Go. I'll pick the picture in my head. I gotta hold it. I have books everywhere. Like, if you go under one of my beds, there's just books, because they've completely, I have no more space on the shelves, so they're just like stuffed under my bed now. There's
my gosh.
Yeah, I love books.
That's good. Yeah. It's good. It's like, I think of like Carrie Bradshaw, right? As you're talking, like she loves her book. She'd sit in her bed, read her book, do her thing. Yeah. Yep. And I really wish I was a reader.
Yeah. Since I'm a little girl, it literally started with like Goosebumps. That was like my thing, like the book fair. My mom was like, what is wrong with this child? I was with her in the scary books. I loved Goosebumps. And like,
really?
Yeah, I loved Goosebumps books.
I forgot about this until you just mentioned it.
Yeah, wow. Goosebumps. Remember? And you could have like the different endings. So like you had to go to page like 72. Yes. You could choose your endings. That's where it started. Oh, and I've been like a book person. My mom said since I was a little girl, but like Goosebumps is like my first real memory of like my summers of loving books and reading books.
So what are you reading right now?
So right now, I'm going to tell you, I'm only like on page 8 because I was going through Target. You know, you go through Target and you're not supposed to look at everything else because you'll come out with like 1,000 things. And I was so good. I was so close. I went in for 3 items. I only picked up 3 items. And as I was going into the line, they had the books. And it was, I don't know the name because, like I said, I just picked it up, but I read the back, and it's a book on trauma. Like I think it's called The Body Always Knows, maybe. Yeah.
That's the
Body
book.
Always. Okay, there we go.
It's very popular.
Yeah, it was there. And I'm like, I'm like trauma. Like it just started, deciding to really talk to somebody, not because of anything, just getting it out and like having my poor husband, because he's just tired of it. He's like, please get a therapist. And so I saw it and I was like, you know what? Like the book just spoke it to me. So I'm only on page like 8. But I'm excited to read this one. And then my next is Diary of a CEO. That's my next one.
Oh, I like that.
I'm a CEO. So
Yeah,
I feel like I should be reading. It was a gift.
But it's a good balance, like I like that you have a wide range.
Oh my gosh. I read books about I love like Navy SEAL books. Like I mean, my genre is weird. It's like my music genre. Like it'll go from like Kurt Cobain to like full blown like opera music, hardcore like Rick Ross rap. Like it goes all over the place in a matter of 30 minutes. Yeah. But that's my brain.
You get all the feels.
I need all the feels. I go from, being a dope dealer to singing the symphony in a matter of 8 minutes. It's incredible.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
No, but I love that you're reading. By the way, I think everybody should do therapy. I am a big advocate for it. I think everybody should just, it's self-growth, right? Like there's so many layers to us, and we get to this level at one point, and then we're like, wait, there's so many other things that I just discovered about myself.
Yeah. I really think therapy, I love that like insurance companies are actually like we'll pay for your therapy now, because it all goes together. Like you work out, you exercise, you see a chiropractor, you see your doctor, you eat, drink water. Like your brain is always going. It's like your heart and your brain are always going. Like you have to take care of that. I think mental health is so important.
And there's always these different situations that bring up different emotions for us, and we process them differently, or a situation that happens and then we don't process it, right? And then it gets buried, or we push our feelings under, or whatever it is, right? Or we react to it differently. But it's just, I don't know. I'm obsessed.
No,
I'm obsessed with therapy.
I know. I think it's like that.
I
think it's like that, holistic, like, don't take Medicaid. And you don't want to the places that are just take a pill, like that'll help you. No, like you can't mask the symptoms. You got to talk it out and like pay somebody to listen to that, because they can give you like sound advice back as well.
Yeah. And it's hard, right? It's harder to do it that way than to like actually, just take a medication or whatever it is. But the relief you get, like I actually had a heart-to-heart conversation today with one of my best friends, and her and I were disagreeing about something, and we were just like frustrated with each other. Like we've been like, I mean, we talk 5 million times a day, like, what else. And at one point we're just like, maybe our friendship is just kind of done at this point. Like, and it's been a long friendship, a long friendship. And we just could not get to this point.
Past, yeah.
And so finally, but then we're both like really, really stubborn. And we're just like, no, we're going to work on this, and we're going to get through it, and we're going to do it. And so finally, like we ended up just like getting to, I don't know what happened. And it finally clicked. She heard something I said, and she was like, oh my gosh, that's all I needed to hear. That was it. I feel so much better. She goes like, all of a sudden, she's like, do you hear it in my voice? I feel amazing now. And she was just like, I feel like I just had a big hit off of a joint or something.
Like big release. Yeah.
She's like, it was like all of a sudden, she's like, because we're like speaking 2 different languages, even though we're saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But in 2 different languages. And she just was like, and I was like, and then I was like, oh, well, that's what I've been trying to say. And then she like, it was
just, it gets lost in translation.
Totally.
Words can be so helpful and so hurtful, like in the same way. Like it's crazy. Like you can say something that can like destroy somebody, and then you can say something that it's like, I literally had this with, I won't say which family member since we're being recorded right now, but I was like, can you just say I'm sorry with nothing after that? Like just those 2 words. That's all I need. I don't need the but. I don't need the contingencies. I just need you to say, I'm sorry, and we can let this go. And it's hard. So sometimes like I feel like, and then you don't want to put it on other, your family and the burden. And I'm like, sometimes I just need like to make sure like I'm not crazy, or if I am being crazy, like tell me I'm being crazy. So I'm like, let me just pay someone to.
There's this other thing, like this is my favorite topic of all times, by the way, when we're talking about, like, I am like, yes, I'm
going to come back for a part 2.
Yeah, we're going to have to, because like, this is so much fun. And we're going to talk about all like self-growth things, because it's like the best thing. But again, my friend and I were talking, and she was having this issue with somebody else, and she's like, I don't know why I'm so triggered with this. Like, this person is triggering me to the core, and I'm getting like really upset. So she's like, okay, I'm going to analyze it. And like, am I overreacting? Am I doing this? Like, what's, so she really went through like the feelings,
the self-reflection.
And as you think of those, okay, how does that feel? Like, is it bringing up like anger in me? Is it bringing up, no, there's no feeling on that one. Okay. So you like check in with yourself a little bit. And so she's doing this and all the things, and all of a sudden she goes, no, like, I don't know why I'm so triggered by this, but I don't think it's a me problem. I think it's that person's problem. Yeah. And so she's like, it just like released that for her. Yeah. And it was just like, all of a sudden it was done, over with. And so now we do all the time. We're like, is it a me problem, or is it a them problem? or he or she problem, right? Or like, is it, well, whose problem is it really? Like, am I overreacting to this? Like,
that's so funny. No, it's really like, you've got to, I really do believe I was the type of person that if anything was happening in my life that was, traumatic, and trust me, there has been some trauma, I would put it up on a shelf, and like I literally can physically like see myself like taking things and just putting it on a shelf and being like, well, if I close it away, it doesn't exist anymore. And it comes out like that smell, like that, stench of whatever you hid in that little cupboard and tucked. It doesn't matter how airtight you think that container it is. It's not. It will come out. So, I think talking things through, and even if you think everything is great in your life, like talk about that. Talk about like sometimes everything's going great and you have a fear of the other shoe falling. So I think, every person, if they can, whatever that, support looks like, whether it's like a free support group or whatever, I think it's so important for people to have some sort of relief from somebody who doesn't have any bias to it,
I love this, how it kind of almost all came full circle. Yeah. Because then it's like having support, right? And having support in business, and having support in a community, and what you are creating here. And I was like, oh my gosh, we just got full circle. I love this. I love when it happens.
And that's what it is. Like, it's all about support. And that's what the group is. Like, it's a support. And that's what I try to explain to people, is that we are a support for each other. We're just letting you know that you're a part of something bigger. And it's not because Casales Consulting is this huge thing. It's still very in the beta phase, but it is, for what I have planned for it, I do expect it to be something that's bigger and greater. And we're doing even more than we're already doing, not just Christmas for Jack and Jill. Like, I want to be doing something for, hopefully, once a quarter. I want to be doing something in the community, whether it's an outreach or an education or a family fun day or whatever that looks like, so that people just know that there are people out there that they can go to for whatever that looks like.
I love it. So where can people connect with you and stay connected with you and know all the things?
So Instagram is the best way. It's what I'm on. I mean, I have the Facebook and the TikTok and Twitter, but really like where I do my best work is Instagram. So my Instagram is @callnadia, which is CALL.NADIA.
So easy, so fun. And I love how active you are on there. So definitely connect with her. If you guys felt like you heard something in this episode that you're like, oh my gosh, I need to share this with a friend, or I want to post about it, tag us in it, do all the things we would love to hear, or love to hear your thoughts and all the fun stuff. So reach out to us for sure, either to Nadia or me. I look forward to seeing you all next week. But before we go, if you can subscribe, write a review on the podcast, it really helps other people find episodes and find the podcast and stay connected and get connected with this community too. So it really helps, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate you all listening every week. It's so sweet. I'm here because of you guys. So thank you. I look forward to see you all next week with a whole new episode.